call the Village of Overland Lake regular council meeting for Wednesday, March 9th to order. Please stand for the pledge of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Duff?
Here.
Dumont?
Here.
Jeremy?
Here.
Nedrow?
Yes.
Malik? McNutt?
Here.
O'Brien?
Here. And we've received notice from Mr. Malik that he is out of town.
Motion to excuse.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Is he okay?
Yes. Yep. He will be back at the end of the month. By the end of the month, he said, so. I don't believe we have any additions to business, or do we?
Actually, we do,
Yeah,
yes.
actually we do, yes.
That's, yeah, under
American Marine?
agenda item number 10, D as in David, we could add number 2, which would be a recommendation from our village engineer regarding contract pricing for grinder pump installations.
Anything else?
That's all that I have, thank you.
Okay. With that, motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Mr. O'Brien. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Correspondence and information. I don't believe we have anything on that front. So with that, we'll move on to the first call to the public. It's an opportunity for citizens to address council on any agenda items. Seeing nobody looking to call. First call to public, we'll bypass and move on to consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Roll call, vote please.
Dumont?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Nedrow?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Okay, we have no board appointments, so at this point, 10A is our presentation for 2021 Citizen of the Year Award, which we're happy to, what's that? Yep, already did. I'm moving.
You are.
So, we had 2 applications for Citizen of the Year, and council got together, admin got together, and we decided that Mr. Kruger, Ron Kruger, would be our Citizen of the Year for the last year here, and he's done a lot of work on the memorial, did a lot of work on the design and implementation of that, and I see him out there all the time working on it, straightening things up. So we thought it would be a nice thing to be able to present this to you, Ron, as an award for your service to the village. So, with that, yeah, we've got a plaque for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your help on that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you. We all do, Ron. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Just what a facility you built.
Well, it was a team effort.
Yeah, I understand that,
Yeah.
but you spearheaded it.
And I'm getting some credit too from not even being there when Fred goes out there. and takes care of it.
I've seen you there quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Again, thanks.
My pleasure.
Brian, if I could just
Yep,
add one
yeah,
thing
go
too,
ahead. Sure.
and I talked to Ron earlier today too. We should also congratulate him, I think, He was appointed to the Commerce Township Parks and Recreation Board last night.
Yes.
So if he didn't have enough to do here in the village, you're also going to keep him busy at the township too, so.
Absolutely.
What's that pay? We make $5.
I don't think we make anything over there.
Okay, next we have the Police Department Awards and Recognition. Go ahead, Mr. Ellsworth, or Chief.
Thank you. This has been long overdue because of COVID, not the ability to be able to get together, but I wanted to read a little bit about what occurred and how Officer Celeste Castillo was able to achieve this life-saving award. In the early hours of January 29, 2021, Officer Celeste Castillo was dispatched to the 2200 block of Darnell within the village of Wolverine Lake. It was a call of a missing 1-year-old along with a 27-year-old mother who had been diagnosed with a mental condition. Upon arrival, she was advised by the husband that his 27-year-old wife had left the house and taken their 1-year-old daughter. He also advised that his wife had a mental condition and had not been taking her medication. They were not dressed properly when they left the house, leaving only in a nightgown, and the baby was in a onesie. The temperature at the time was 10 degrees. Officer Castillo requested assistance from the Sheriff's Department as well as the Wall Lake Police Department to search the area. Approximately 1 hour later, as Officer Castillo was searching the area of Lakeview and McCoy, which, by the way, is nearly a mile from the location, she was able to hear a baby crying. Upon further investigation, she located the mother with a child in her arms, standing near a home, hiding in the bushes. Officer Castillo was able to approach the mother and remove the baby from her. The baby had started to turn blue in color, and his limbs had become stiff due to the extreme cold. She was able to begin to warm the baby, and medical assistance was called. They were both transported to Huron Valley Hospital, where they were treated for hypothermia. The child was transported then to Children's Hospital in Detroit for further treatment, but survived with no permanent injuries. The mother was admitted to the hospital where she received medical treatment for her mental health. But if it were not for Officer Castillo's swift actions, quick thinking, and determination, this could have very well ended in tragedy. This type of perseverance and dedication to protecting the citizens of Wolverine Lake reflects greatly upon Officer Castillo and the Wolverine Lake Police Department, and it is my honor to award Officer Celeste Castillo the department's life-saving award. If you join me up here, please. Stand in front of the podium. Yes, we have to get a good picture here. It's going up in the newspaper.
He's not kidding, Celeste.
Full color.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So Officer Steve Grunwald received a certificate of commendation at one of the council meetings, I believe, when Deputy Chief retired, but the State Lodge of the FOP. John, you want to join me up here? For those of you that don't know, Sergeant Morosco is the Vice President of the Michigan Fraternal Order of Police, and they also wanted to award a couple of commendations as well. But Officer Steve Grunwald, I know that you've been kind of waiting for this, so I was able to get you your ribbon for your uniform.
Thank you, Chief.
Yours is coming. Yours had to be special. We don't get a lot of awards very often, so Sergeant Morosco.
So, as the chief said, I am the state vice president for the Michigan Fraternal Order of Police. I'm also a local lodge president, or past president for our local lodge 128. And our local lodge every year does awards for officers in the community, and we send them out to agencies. And the categories that we recognize would be valor, community service, life-saving. Steve Grunwald has done a tremendous job across the state of Michigan, if you're not aware of it, with partnering with the Kroger Corporation for their Zero Hunger, Zero Waste food program. I believe it's over a million pounds.
1.5 million.
1.5 million pounds of food have been donated through this program. Steve has spent endless hours contacting agencies across the state, making sure that they participate in this. It's a great program. The FOP at the state level is fully behind it. Our local lodge is behind it. So we wanted to recognize Steve with the Community Service Award. This is for 2001. 2021, excuse me. And obviously, it's been overdue, but, you know, COVID has really slowed things down with being able to get these out. So I have a plaque here I'd like to present to Officer Steve Grunwald for his efforts in promoting the statewide Kroger Zero Waste, Zero Hunger food drive. Officer Grunwald contributed countless hours to his personal time contacting police agencies across Michigan and gaining their support for this critical, important FOP-sponsored hunger prevention program. Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Celeste, want to come back up here? What?
So I don't need to go into what Officer Celeste already did, the chief already did, but we have, as I said, life-saving was one of the categories that the local lodge represents. So we have a plaque for you also for your life-saving award. And it just goes on to say, I'm going to use my glasses this time so I can see it better. Officer Celeste Castillo, Wolverine Lake Police Department, on January 29, 2001, successfully initiated and coordinated a multi-agency search for a woman and her infant child missing in freezing temperatures, saving the child's life.
Thank you.
So, congratulations.
Thank you.
And what we do, what we say, I will have also for you, actually I don't have tonight, I'll each will have a gift card from the Fraternal Order of Police for $50 each. I just don't have them with me tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to.
Hey, thank you.
Sorry, we're going to
Oh, it's okay.
overtake the meeting just for a quick second. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you. It's one of the nice things to be able to do, that's for sure.
Nobody carries cameras anymore.
And it's amazing, we've given out a couple life-saving awards in the last couple of years here, so that's a great thing to do, be able to do. Okay, moving along. New hire from the police department, so we're still on the police department.
We're actually, come on up, Jim. This is Mr. Jim Fry. He's worked over 20 years in the Oakland County Sheriff's Department as a Marine Patrol officer and or deputy, and he's agreed to come along board alongside us to become one of our Marine officers. And he has worked well with Officer Grunwald, and they've done a lot of the classes together. He worked with Rico, and we thought it would be a good fit, and it's a good relief to have somebody with his training to be able to come here and help us out. So,
Absolutely.
Mr. Jim Fry, this is the council.
I'd like to make a motion that we hire Mr. Jim Fry as the Marine Patrol Officer.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont.
For the record, his name is actually Jeff, but he goes by Jim. But just so, yeah, it's a long story, but we want to just make sure that's clear. So it is, he goes by Jim, but his name is actually Jeff. So I don't know if you need to make a legal clarification there or not, or if it's on there as Jeff, or.
I think we've got,
Jim.
You got it. This guy.
we've got it on film too, so.
Okay.
Recording, so.
J. Fry.
It should be official, yeah?
It says on his shirt, it's got to be official.
Jay. He has Jay there. So.
Yeah. So is there any discussion on that motion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Very good.
Great, well, thank you.
Thank
for
you very
helping.
much.
Thank you. I feel honored to be able to take this position.
Appreciate it.
Get you sworn in. You can shake their hands if you want to.
Thank you, Mike.
Jim, if we could let's step to the podium. I'll go ahead and.
All right, yeah, get sworn in.
You swear at or swear in?
He's gonna be a fucking Marine Patrol. He's gonna get started for sure.
I'll surprise if I get you to raise your right hand, please. And I'm going to ask you to repeat after me.
Okay.
I state your name.
I, Jeff Fry,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state.
and that I will faithfully perform
I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office of Marine Patrol Officer
the duties of the office of Marine Patrol Officer
in and for the Village of Wolverine Lake,
and for the Village of Wolverine Lake,
County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
and State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Glad to have you.
Sign on that line right there.
Thank you very much.
Hey, great.
Again, thank you all.
Okay. Last item under 10 was recommendation and updates from Engineer Powell, Shankin and Newport culvert cleaning. Also the grinder pumps, I guess.
Will be next.
Thank you, Council. Before you, you'll see a quote from American Marine, and if you've noticed the date, it was on November 30th, 2020, that they provided this quote to the village. At that time, it was right in the midst of shutdowns and everything else, so the village nor American Marine were ready to get started on cleaning the culvert underneath Shankin, the Shankin Road tube. That culvert is about a 12-foot diameter culvert, and it is got about 5 feet of sand in the bottom of it, and there's only 1 foot of water that is above the sand layer during the summertime. So boats can float across it, but there can be no motorized vehicles, and anything with a draft over a foot gets stopped right underneath that culvert. We had, I touched base with a number of other contractors this year. We met with them out there. American Marine has agreed to hold their price of virtually 2 years ago at $14,200. The next lowest price was $33,000. And obviously that was way out of the range of what was reasonable. American Marine did also agree to drop their price by $1,000, and DPW has offered to use the village trucks to transport the sediment that is removed, the spoils removed, with the village trucks. So that would save another $1,000. So they have agreed to drop their price to $13,200 to make that happen. DPW will then drop the water another 6 to 8 inches from where it is right now to get that culvert even drier. The American Marine can have the work done in the next couple weeks, which would give us plenty of time to bring the lake back up again for Memorial Day to the legal lake water elevation. So the administration and I wanted to present this to council and let council decide whether this is what you wanted to pursue. This is our opinion. The very best, these people are the experts in doing this work.
Moved. It needs to be done.
Second.
Motion by Dumont, second by Duff.
By the way, there's more than that in there now.
Yeah.
I walked it the other day, and yeah.
I've been through there many times, and it is getting so deep.
Yeah.
I say deep, it'd be the other way.
Shallow.
Shallow. Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Any other discussion on that?
Just one, the $1,000 is, what's the cost of our DPW to do all that, and fuel and?
That's a great question. It's not going to be hauled very far. It's going to be from the Shankin into the Commerce Township Park. So they'll use a double truck and just rotate it. We estimate there's probably about 30,000 yards of dirt in the bottom of that, so it'll take them a day to route around.
How many hours do you think?
How many hours of DPW time?
Correct.
I apologize, I don't have that calculation, but I would guess
What's it
it's
cost
probably
for
4
us to run
hours.
that truck?
David might know, I do not.
Off the top of my head, I don't. We can get that
Okay.
information. So, and we can make a judgment as to whether or not it makes more sense for us to just go ahead and pay the extra.
Well, you know, his point, even though he didn't make the point fully, is that we might save money by not using our DPW. Right?
Oh, yeah, that's, you offset the cost of it, the cost of using our DPW and the man hours, because it's taking them away from somewhere else. Fuel costs going back and forth with
Yeah.
fuel costs rising.
And maintenance on the
So,
vehicle.
maintenance on
And
the vehicle, so.
That's certainly the administration's and the DPW's call.
If it's simpler, screw it. You know, that's how I feel. But at the same time, we should watch what we're doing with our money. Are we stepping over a dime to pick up, $1 to pick up a dime?
So you might want to authorize the entire amount and let the administration make their decision as to how it's done.
That's probably the way it would probably.
let's do
I
that.
would do
Friendly,
it.
that's fine.
Let's do that.
Authorize up to.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. You agree, Mike?
I said friendly, man.
Yeah.
We're good.
All right, friendly.
Okay, I guess we have to vote on the front one, correct?
Did we even vote on the?
Or no, just vote on the motion?
You didn't.
They offered a friendly, so we're
Friendly
good.
and then
Okay.
Do
I
you,
guess-
do you agree, Brian?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, if there's like,
Yeah.
how much did you say,
They're
Mike?
expensive, our DPW.
How much, Stuart?
About
30,000.
30,000 yards.
30,000 yards?
I'm sorry,
3,000.
3,000 yards.
3,000 yards.
Yes.
I was gonna say, 30,000 would be an
Yeah, no,
awful lot.
No, 3,000 yards, thank you.
3,000 be. Couple trips. Couple
Yes.
trips, yeah, a few couple, with a 5-year dump,
5-yard, right.
yeah.
So,
Well, it makes sense to look at whichever's most feasible, so, in my mind, so.
Friendly.
With that,
I think we're waiting to hear back from American Marine as to when they can actually get the job done. Is that right, Mike? Or have you-
That is correct. They have not given me their schedule yet. I've asked for it in writing, but they told me that they could move in this week by phone. They haven't confirmed that in writing, so I would expect in the next couple of weeks it'd be done.
and I think that was, if I recall, there was no permit that was required based upon that too, correct?
As long as the
I
water's
refuse
down.
to comment on that. The concept is that we're going to lower the water down to where we get it below the elevation of the bottom of the tube. Therefore, we are not doing any dredging of the lake.
Correct.
That is correct.
And that's how we have to do it.
That's correct.
And actually, the gates at the dam, we had closed those fully earlier this week to start to regain the water in the lake. And then once we got this information from American Marine, and they indicated they could potentially move quickly, and the fact that it would help them if the lake level was even a little bit lower than what it is right now, we went ahead and opened the gates back up. So if anybody goes by and sees that water...
They're already
like that-
open.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're already open, so we were about 3 inches above the base level as of earlier this week, so I would guess we're probably getting close now.
Well, there's a lot of melt the last couple.
I'm assuming they'd use some type of inflatable copper and then pump it.
I believe what they're going to do is put a piece of equipment, they're going to lift a piece of equipment in there to push it from north to south.
Okay.
And then they'll dredge from the the south side of the culvert
Gotcha.
into a truck.
And then once the work is done, then we'll get the gates closed back up, and we'll start to bring the water level back up.
Perfect. I know we've been talking about this for 3 or 4 years now.
Correct.
Yeah, at least, so. With that, roll call vote, please.
Jeremy?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Nedrow?
Yes.
McNutt?
yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Dumont?
Yes.
Okay, and second is the grinder pump installation.
Yes, now, August of last year, I brought before you a requested increase by C&E, and I misled myself as well as you, thinking that the previous time the contract had been increased was about 10 years ago. In my evaluation for this particular request, I found that the previously approved contract was back in 2006. So it had been 15 years before C&E had requested the increase. So last August, no, let me back up. Commerce Township went out for bids to rebid the contract in January of 2017. C&E worked so well with the village that they waited until this past summer to request a parity between the village and Commerce Township, and that's what I brought before you in August. So they requested the increase in August to match the 2017 contract that Commerce Township had. Since that time, Commerce Township went out for bid again on November 2nd, 2021, last year, and C&E, Greg Harris, came and said that he'd like parity again with the village, and so here in March, he's requesting that we match Commerce Township's contract again. We have had we've been very pleased with their service. They're personable, they clean up after themselves, they're very polite to the residents, they move their schedule around, the residents' schedule, and they really go above and beyond to assist the village in connecting residents to the sanitary sewer. We have the opportunity, if we wanted to go out for bids ourselves. This is an open bid contract that Commerce Township took and signed. Now, in full disclosure, C&E was the only bidder for the Commerce Township project. Evidently, the experts or the professionals that do this work, they've picked and choose which residents, which communities they want to bid. C&E did not bid in the Lyon Township project. Another contractor did, and those prices are higher than C&E's. So although they were the only bidder in Commerce, they're still under what the adjacent communities are paying. The other advantage we have by using the Commerce Township contractor, Commerce Township allows the village to store all their grinder pumps in the wastewater treatment plant over on Welch Road. And in doing so, our contractor can go in there, make arrangements, get those grinder pumps at their discretion. We don't have to store them here, we don't have to even arrange it, and it's kind of all done automatically. So we get the benefit of working with Commerce Township and their storage and their contractor by keeping them the same. So it's my recommendation, even though these prices did jump up substantially, between 10 and 60%, depending on which unit, they are still well within the acceptable range in the surrounding communities, and we have the continued use of the Commerce Township plant and contractor. So my recommendation is to approve these contracts, or this new contract bid tab amount, so that everyone knows, even on TV that might be watching it, we have a number of contracts that have already been signed by residents. C&E will honor those previous quotes so that we don't have to go back to those homeowners and say those prices have now increased. So those are going to be honored as well, but from this point forward, we'll be using the higher quotes if council authorizes.
Well, yeah, a couple of questions. So that was a motion by Dumont, second by Duff, I guess. How much did we increase, or how much did they increase the fees last go around, Mike?
It was picked and chose. If you take a look, I thought maybe I had given you a summary letter of that.
Mike, in your opinion, is it on par with what you think is reasonable?
Oh, it definitely is on par. It is less than what they charge White Lake Township, if that means anything. But on August 4th, we sent a letter recommending the last time in August. March 8th, we sent this letter, and it compares the current versus the proposed. And
yeah, I was just curious how much it went up last go around. I think it was minimal, wasn't it?
Last go around, it went up from $100 to $3 a foot, something in that range. $150 in one spot. This time it went up more than that because it brought them up to today's market instead of 2017's market.
Well, sounds like to me we need to keep cameras from going out for bid. Every time they do, we end up getting a rate hike from C&E.
Especially when I only get one bid back.
That's true, that's true.
Additional septic tank abandonment, I mean, it doubled. That just kind of blew me away.
Yeah, that's because normally the additional septic tank is not found until after the work is started.
Okay.
And so it's kind of all work has to
Another
stop
trip.
while they come in and take care of that additional septic tank. But they still have to pump it, they still have to crush it, they still have to bring the sand in to fill it. And so this is what their open bid.
Well, I know materials have gone up, and they are supplying,
Yeah.
steel pipe and stuff.
That's correct.
That's huge increases right now, valves and everything like that, so. I understand, just like everything else. Okay, any other discussion?
I mean, there's nothing else we can do to save the money, right? But
I believe that we would find, not only would C&E's prices maybe even go up, but the other contractors would be higher even if we went out for bids on our own.
And C&E's they have done a great job in the village.
They really have.
So,
And they put the village priority because they know the impact on the lake. So they really move their schedule in order to keep any contamination getting to the lake when we have failures.
Okay, with that, roll call vote, please.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Nedrow.
Yes.
McNutt.
Yes.
Duff.
Yes.
Dumont.
yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Okay.
Just one bit of information for you. I wanted to tell you how impressed I am that Commerce Township has worked with us really well on the entrance to the Hickory Glen Park. They've worked with myself, they've worked with the chief and the DPW to make sure that that entrance meets all of our requirements, both drainage-wise and, as you know, it's kind of a hidden drive, and so the chief and the DPW has been working with them on the approval of the signs to make sure that people might be aware that people are turning and there might be a backup, but that has all been approved now, so I expect you'll start seeing work over there this summer.
Another question for you, Mike. With oil prices going up as much as they are, I was just curious of what your thoughts were going to be as far as how much that's going to impact our road paving projects.
I was hoping to sidestep that, Brian. In contacting both Cadillac Asphalt and ASI has done our paving in the last virtually 10 years. ASI says that they expect that the increase will be about the 10% range. Cadillac was almost double that much of an increase. Each of them warned me that the prices are changing weekly, which is really key. So we are looking to bring back to you the open bid prices, big quotes, bids at your next meeting so that we can get them started as soon as we can.
Why is there a 10% difference in those rates?
ASI has really enjoyed working for the village. It's a non-pressure situation, and we really work well with their schedule, so they can come and go as they need to. Cadillac is a much bigger company, wants to come in, make their profit, and be gone. So ASI works with the village a great deal more than Cadillac.
Yeah.
It probably depends on the location of the plants and everything, too. There's a lot of stuff that is involved.
ASI is able to buy from several plants. Cadillac has their own plant. So.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, I know all that stuff is going to go up.
It will, and it may come to where council
But
has
there's
to
no
decide
inflation.
how to proceed, maybe in April.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yep. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no public hearings, so moving on to new business item A, 12A, Parks and Recreation recommendation to release budget funds for Easter Bunny lunch.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Nedrow.
Yes.
McNutt.
Yes.
Duff.
Yes.
Dumont.
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
And I believe, Mark, that was, what, April 9th?
Yes.
So, item B, request from Police Chief Ellsworth to purchase new GTAC in-car body camera systems and in-car and body camera systems in the amount not to exceed $52,695.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Discussion. I know, Chief, you ended up, we talked about this at the work session last month.
Yep, we talked about it.
And,
We're good.
I think it was what, for four?
It's not like he's robbing the...
Four in-car cameras and...
4 in-car cameras, 8
8 body cams.
As well as the major thing with this, in fact, I had a discussion today with the prosecutor's office about it. They're thrilled with the fact that we can send it to them in the cloud, so they can actually see the things that we've done the night before, because before we would actually have to download everything to a stick and drive it to Pontiac, because it was too large to send over an email. I had lunch today with the other chiefs from Oakland County, and Jason Pernick actually sat at my table. We had a conversation about that. He was very excited at the fact that they go to the cloud now and just download it and tell us what they need redacted, what they don't need redacted, and it's going to be much, much simpler. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to take, it's a process, honestly. Once we order this, it takes about 6 weeks before things come in. It's going to take a process to get this going, but my goal for this is to have everything up and running smoothly by July 1. So the sooner we get acting on this, the better off we're going to be. So,
And Chief, did you have in the past, have you had to redact everything manually or with a different program?
Because we did not have body cams, the only time our cameras were going where it was out in the public.
So this is a new problem?
This is a new process, correct. But after talking to a couple of departments that have used this, they made me feel much more confident in that. Department the size of Grosse Pointe Shores, for example, I talked to their lieutenant over there, and he said, about 20 minutes a week is all they spend time redacting. One of the major problems with a lot of these body cams in larger departments, or even smaller departments, is they almost have to hire a person, an IT person, to do all the redaction. He said, this program is so simple. He said, it's very quick and it's very easy. So I hope it is, because
there's still mechanical parts
there's certain
involved.
Things, but they have automated a lot can actually pick out a particular pixel.
There's the algorithm that
there's something
does
to
this?
do with, you click on that face and it'll actually follow the face, or click on the driver's license, it'll follow the driver's license, and it'll block everything out.
Very cool.
So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous because there's so much new technology, but I really think this is going to be very beneficial to everybody involved. Like I say, when we deal with Scott Baker a lot, weekly, and it's a lot easier for us to send him a link. What do you think about this? And give us a lot better of an idea. So this is going to be much simpler than me burning discs and either putting them off in the mail or, with our FOIA, it's the same thing. It's going to be a lot easier to add a link, and I can limit their amount. Say this link is going to be good for 2 weeks. So you can download it, you can save it to your computer, whatever. But after that, this link is gone. So it's a security feature. It's going to be really nice to have. So we're excited about it. We really appreciate, and it's not just me. Believe me, the guys really want these we wanted these body cameras for 2 years. So
we've been talking about it for five plus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's something we really we kind of needed to update. And this is a good way to do it. A one fell swoop and it's done. So the technology with the stuff.
Well, the other thing is your in-car cameras were all out of date and everything anyways.
Yeah, they're out of warranty and they're starting to get really expensive to maintain. So
you got to keep up with technology, that's for sure.
This is a good way to do it.
Sounds dumb, but I brought this up to you, Chief, and that's that I bought my house in 2003, and I planned, in fact, I had a 5-year mortgage. I planned on leaving, and I'm here because of how safe you guys keep us.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it.
I'm dead serious, and that's no gratuity. I'm dead serious.
Well, I take pride in our officers. Obviously, we have some really great officers. I saw Officer Dennis here. I don't know if he came up to watch the presentation that took, 10 minutes? He drove from Saline up here so that he could spend some time with his officers. So that
just
to me
for support?
Yeah, that to me just shows, we have a great department. We have great people.
Super. Okay. With that, roll call vote on that item, please.
McNutt?
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Pedro,
Yes. Item C, request from Police Chief Ellsworth to purchase a new police boat in the amount of not to exceed $40,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. Discussion.
I do want to talk about this real quickly. The cost of the boat itself is $32,310. I asked for 40 because I am unsure how much the graphics are going to cost or how much the lights are going to cost. Just to repair the lights, 4 years ago, it cost us $2,000. So I'm assuming the lights are probably going to be closer to 5 to get everything on that boat with the wiring and everything. But I still think this is a very wise investment for the village.
And Duff's not going to have to work on the motor anymore.
Correct. This is a nice Suzuki 140 horse. It's a center console Key Largo boat, 2022, and I think it's going to be. And just so you know, when we buy this boat, this is going to take time to build, and we're probably not going to pick it up even until like September. And we're going to
The additions,
We
all
have
the wiring.
the wiring and the graphics, and so we're planning on revealing this boat next spring. So it's a year from now before we get the boat actually ready to go. But I'm okay with that because it's gonna take time, and I hate rushing things into it. When you rush into things like that, mistakes are made and it gets costly. So if we plan it out, and this is another thing too, is this has been in our 5-year forecast for the police department. And
We delayed that.
We did delay it by a year. so.
But our lake is our downtown.
Yes, it is.
And we need it to be safe because there's a couple of jerks. They're almost all awesome.
Yeah.
And there's a few people out there and that need their hand slapped, we'll say.
And we do have a lot of visitors in this lake, so.
Because of, how many trailers does our launch hold?
15,
15,
plus a handicap.
16, yeah.
Plus
16.
16 total, 15 plus
Yeah.
a handicap. So,
So we could have 15 jerks out there.
And more than that.
we could have a lot more than that, but with 15 visitors that.
Of course, I'm teasing, but that's,
Yeah.
that's why we need to have a boat.
And we, with the addition to Officer Fry, I think we're gonna be really big setup this year, so. And we
Will they
have-
work in tandem?
No, they'll work, we're gonna give Steve a break this year. Steve was out there almost every weekend last year. And when
I
he was
know he
out there on
was.
the weekend, he was out there sometimes weeknights, so. that
And people were
surprised me.
yelling at him,
Yeah.
and, yeah,
So-
worse.
Yeah, Steve earned his pay last year,
I know he did.
so.
Yeah.
But we plan on using our current boat for this summer, and we're gonna limp it through.
Perfect.
We just had some maintenance
Sorry,
things
Doc.
done to it, and I think it's gonna be okay for this year. And again, you're gonna get some good money for that boat next year when you go to sell it, so.
Okay.
So question, as far as, you're gonna order it, we have to pay up front, or how do we,
No, I
how's
think
that
it's a
work?
$5,000 deposit for
Okay.
the order.
And
And then what we do
balance
is
on
we pay
pickup?
in the end. And so,
Right,
you know,
okay.
I'll work out the specifics with Mr. Condek, but if we could just get it approved that way, I can actually go up for bids for one.
Mhm.
And,
Sure.
Try
Okay.
to do something cool for the graphics. so.
Sounds good. With that, any more discussion? Roll call vote on that item.
Duff,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Pedro,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Thank you.
And last, I believe, from the police department,
Good night.
tonight,
You're expensive tonight.
I am, and Sergeant Morosco said, this is the police department show tonight.
I know, I walked in, I'm like, am I about to be arrested?
so, request to purchase 4 new Dell laptop computer systems for the police vehicles and the amount not to exceed $15,175.08.
Motion.
Second.
Question, that was, the other thing was, that was not including shipping, correct?
I
Yeah.
don't recall.
So we probably should throw in a little extra to that.
We can do that.
Friendly.
Friendly.
Not to exceed 16?
I think that would work well.
Yeah.
Definitely. We have to order these. Unfortunately, we also had to order Windows 11 for our existing computers because as of today, they quit servicing Windows 7 which is what our current computers are on.
7.
So we actually are on Windows 7 still.
Oh.
So, yeah, we might need an updated computer system. So, hey, we make things last around here, you know? We get our money's worth.
That's it.
But, yeah, I actually had to update, so $340-some is, I had to get a PO with Mr. Convex help. We were able to do that and order them. But until we get these computers in, I had to actually upgrade the computers. So I feel like I've just wasted $345 on software that are going to be replaced over the next few months. But I don't know, with everything going on in today's world, I don't know. A lot of these Dell computers are coming from Israel, and it's going to be very different to get them here. And you know, we also have that includes our docking stations, which we need for our cars, so they actually dock in to for our printers as well as our motors.
Are you comfortable that you'll get the gear you need, or should we talk about that tonight?
No, not.
Okay.
That'd be more comfortable. No, we're all good. No, this is good. We actually, myself and Mr. Gillum, had a conversation after our meeting, and we decided that these are the 3 priority things we really needed to get done this year. And the rest of the things we can budget for. We can, you know, that other money is fine, but we can still budget for them. I don't like rushing into, I did a lot of research on these things, obviously, but I felt comfortable moving these 3 things forward. The rest of the things, the in-house computers, the desktops, I think there were just a couple of other little things. You know, we went ahead and bought those. All right, you know, for all 4 cars, it was $1,700 for the lights. Like I said, we're going to make our money back on those within 3 years. That was kind of a no-brainer. We just went ahead and did that. There's a couple other things, like I said, the monitor and
The security cameras
security
you
cameras.
talked about.
That is one thing. We wanted to get an updated quote because the security cameras when we quoted them, it was summer of 2021, I believe.
Last year.
Yeah, last summer.
We wanted to get an updated one because everything has gone up, and we don't want it to sticker shock. So we want to get it back out, kind of go over everything again, but we do want to get a camera up on the memorial, as well as some additional cameras down the Clara Miller Park, some additional cameras here in our DPW yard, maybe one more for the entrance of the driveway. But all that's being said, I can take my time and plan that, and for our budget for the next coming year, we can do that, and we can get those in place. So this will be keep me busy for the rest of the week to getting things in line for this, but yeah, I'm very satisfied with where we stand right now.
Okay, with that, roll call vote.
Could we just,
Yeah, go ahead.
you know, so, these last 3 items are, you know, a lot of money. Could we just make it clear so everybody knows where the money's coming from, people that might be watching?
Well, we're gonna have to amend the budget for that, for
Yeah,
sure.
but also from our,
But
These will be American Rescue
Rescue
Plan
monies,
right,
funding.
yeah.
That's correct.
I believe me, I wouldn't have ever come to you folks if you just said, here, let's spend $100,000 on this stuff just because. And you guys asked me to bring to you our ideas and things. A couple of these things were already in our 5-year forecast. One of them, we didn't have a clue if we were going to get a grant for the cameras and stuff, the $52,000. But the boat was already in our long-range 5-year forecast. And, you know, this other stuff, we have to upgrade equipment anyways. Usually we do it when we replace our vehicles, which, by the way, I got word today, it'll be in within 2 weeks. Our new Dodge Durango will be in, so looking forward to that, too.
But Chief, many of us on this board work with tools, and we realize that you need tools to do a job. So if you need something,
We are good right where we're at right now.
Good.
This will keep me busy till we pass the budget.
I want our families to be safe.
And they are, and they're going to continue to be.
Good.
Yeah, these are, again, I've always came to you whenever I needed necessities.
I agree.
And there are certain things that I call niceties and not necessities.
needs and wants.
That was your
Needs and
Lamborghini.
Needs and wants.
Needs and wants, and that's what we do is,
It's needs
I
and
feel
wants.
like this is a good
Need.
compromise. We think it's going to be beneficial for the community to have body cams. Therefore, we ask for them.
And I'll say that it's controversial because police are looked down on right now, and the body cams are something that if you want one as a police officer, then that means you're on the up.
Believe me, we've had this discussion throughout their entire department, and everybody wants them. We just want to make sure we get the right ones for the right reasons. The thing that really held us back for a long time was the software and the redaction portion of it. The redaction that we needed to do for a long time was so cumbersome, it took hours to do for one particular video.
Yeah, you've been talking about that for the last 3 or 4 years.
And
that
it's
Redaction was,
costly.
the cost was gonna be too much.
It was, what, $4,600 a year for just the licensing for the software. And then for me to be able to sit in front of a computer and go through each pixel, and it didn't seem reasonable at the time.
Right.
The new stuff we got now is, we're very excited about it, we're looking forward to it. We'll see, the installation stuff,
And it protects you too,
it's always.
because then well, I'm guessing, and you can correct me, but you are then on camera intentionally, and then if somebody says that, maybe they say that something bad happened, you have the ability to say, watch this,
Yeah.
right?
And we would release the entire video, not a snippet, so.
I know you would.
And it's going to be beneficial, believe me, for not only us individually, but as a department and as a community. We're holding our officers accountable, and they understand that. They want to be held accountable. That's why they're here. So, yeah, we're very happy with it.
Protects everybody, you guys are the village, it protects everybody in that regard.
It does,
So it does.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, with that,
So-
roll call vote?
Dumont,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Nedrow,
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Second call to the public, and we have no public to call on, so. That will bypass the second call, and set topics for the March 23rd work session.
Motion to forgo.
Do we have anything that we really need
Second.
to go through, Dave?
For purposes of a work session, no.
Okay.
We had a good session a couple weeks ago. so.
And April will probably be our budget session, Mr. Conduct, you believe?
No, May.
Normally May.
May?
Always May.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that, getting ahead.
Second Wednesday, right?
With that, motion by Duff, second by Dumont to forego the March 23rd work session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Village treasurer search. We'll give that to, who wants to take it?
No, that's good.
There's arguing.
No, I drew the short straw.
I don't want to talk about it. Do you?
Council, I felt it was appropriate for me to give you a public update as to what we've been doing and where we stand with the search for a new treasurer. And in fact, after I've given you basically an overview, I'm going to be asking you to consider setting a special meeting date for us to conduct some interviews. What it boils down to essentially is we have two directions that we can go in terms of filling Mr. Condak's spot. One is to outsource the work, that is to hire a consultant to come in and do some or all of the work that Mike does on a daily basis. In fact, we've received proposals from 2 different accounting firms to do that work, at least some of it. One firm has indicated that they could do basically everything that Mike does,
No, they
including...
can't.
They've indicated they could do that. We know that they could, but they've indicated that they could. And that would include some of the more routine stuff, the accounts payable, payroll, things like that. The other firm has indicated to us that they would not do the more routine things. They could handle everything else, the annual reporting, and work on the budget with us, work on the audit with us, audit preparation, things like that. But we would be left, in terms of the day-to-day, if you will, to either reassign that work to existing staff.
How do we fill that gap in?
Or bring somebody else on board to help one or
Like
the
a
other.
part-time job?
Potentially, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it could be a part-time position. So, the other option is to kind of follow the model, if you will, the past practice here, and to actually have a full-time employee on staff. I think that's the staff's preference. We've discussed this at the administrative committee level, and I'm not going to speak for President Nedrow or Councilman Duff, but I think that's the admin committee's preference as well. if we can find a qualified candidate. In addition to reviewing and having discussions with the 2 accounting firms, we also reposted the treasurer position with the Michigan Municipal League in January. It was posted for roughly a month. We did receive some other applicants through that process. I've had contact with all the applicants. At this point in time, I've identified at least one applicant in the process that I think council should consider interviewing.
That's a shame.
Well,
I
at
think we
least-
could do better than that.
Well, we had the interview basically set up, and at the last minute, they canceled out, right?
Well,
This last go-around.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, I mean, and this is something, keep in mind, that we've been working on for over a year. It's been something I've been working on ever since I walked in the
Since
door
you've been here,
Right.
yeah.
So, about 15 months ago, so.
You're not replaceable.
So again, I guess first of all, I need some confirmation from council as to what council's thoughts are, if you agree with the staff and with the admin committee, that if it's possible, we should try to find a full-time employee to serve as the treasurer. Obviously, having a body here, in addition to Mike's functions, the position also helps with other things too. It's more of a team concept type thing. So if council's in agreement with that, then again, I've identified at least one and possibly more people that I think council should consider interviewing. So,
And forgive me, Dave, Mike, what do you think that position should be? Because
sorry,
you're in that spot, so would you say that moving forward, our best option
Yeah.
is to have a full-time or split it up between a big conglomerate and a part-time?
I think what you'll find is that the model that exists when you hire a firm, before you know it, they're going to have your hooks into you for a lot of money, a lot more than you're paying me, a lot more than you pay an individual. I have that on pretty good authority, both from our auditor and from other experience I've been able to research. That being the case, if you can get the individual, I think that's great. And, fingers crossed. We can do
And that's what we've done,
So why
recent
don't-
past
why
year,
don't we
we've
move
looked to
forward?
get an individual in that position, so it just hasn't
Dave,
worked the
why don't
last
we
couple
move
times.
forward with that plan then? I mean, we got an expert here, and instead of dealing with one of the big companies that do that, and then having a second person fill in the gaps, let's hire somebody full-time at 40 hours?
Weekly, sure.
Yeah, 40 hours.
Yeah.
That's my
Well,
opinion.
or potentially.
What do you guys think?
Or potentially a company that could do both. We wouldn't need to necessarily have the additional employee. It would depend upon, example, the 2 proposals that we have. But under either proposal, understand that it would be a consultant who would be doing the work, and they would be part of the time on-site, part of the time off-site. But any work that was done for the village, whether on-site or off-site, we would be billed at an hourly rate. And it would be a significant rate.
It wouldn't be an on-site person?
Part of the time
Part
would
of
be
the time would
on-site,
be,
part of the time would be off-site.
Okay.
Those are the 2 proposals. And no offense to our village attorney, but it's like hiring another attorney. Because again, it's work, and all the work is billed on an hourly basis.
Basically, it's consultant, yeah.
It's a consultant.
Is there a minimum and
There's no way to have
maximum
one, like an
weekly rate?
in-house treasurer?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, okay, good. But when you were saying that it could be in-house.
If it was a firm,
Yeah.
they would not have somebody here full-time.
Yeah, screw that.
So,
Was there a limit as the minimum, maximum weekly billable hours
no,
that that firm would have?
no.
We could try to negotiate. In fact, one of the companies, or one of the firms had referred to it, at least initially, having a not to exceed.
But our treasurer does more than just what,
There's a discussion
he
going on. Dave,
deals,
Dave.
oh,
There's discussion going on, so we can hold on when it goes done. I understand your thought.
Yeah, there was discussion with one of the firms about potentially having a not to exceed in the initial agreement. And then when it got within range of the not to exceed, then the question would be brought back to the council as to whether or not we wanted to end the relationship or whether we wanted to authorize above and beyond the not to exceed figure.
It was pretty hard to pin down exactly what those costs were going to be. So I know he had looked at it. We were looking at, admin was looking at it, and as far as trying to piece out, a portion of the payroll, or a portion of the payables, or.
Well, there's always a gap.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be an easy situation either way, unless you have somebody come in and completely take it over. But Mr. Kondak's saying that that's going to be a pretty exorbitant fee too, so. So I think at this point, if we've got somebody that we can look at, I would say that we sign up for an interview and go through that process and see how things work out, because again, that's what we've tried to do, is to fill that position.
See if we don't fail again.
That's where the consensus is at, is having a person.
Yeah, exactly.
An employee.
So I believe if everybody's in agreement, I think we proceed that way.
Okay, so then I'd ask you to think about setting a date for a special meeting to conduct an interview or interviews with the candidates that Mr. Kondak and I deem to be qualified. I think we do have an open date on March 23rd, but I was talking with President Netter before the meeting. I'm sure this is something that Councilman Malik would like to be present for, and I think he's going to be back sometime that week.
Surely there.
So maybe we should look, possibly at the week after that, the week of the 28th.
Last week of March.
If that'll work for people. We don't have any, I don't believe we have any meetings scheduled that week. Double check our calendar.
Maybe the first part of the week we go on business Wednesday through Friday.
Which way? What was that, Mark?
Leaving on the 30th?
30th?
Yeah, I gotta go to Minnesota.
So either Monday the 28th or Tuesday the 29th?
Yep.
This point either day is fine for me.
What time?
We could do 7 o'clock, we could do something earlier, if it was more convenient for people. Or something a little bit later, I suppose, if we needed to do that. We could do a 7:30, maybe even 8 o'clock if we had to.
I can do as early as 6 or any time after that.
Tuesday at 7, would work.
Say that again?
Tuesday,
7.
7.
The 7th?
Oh, no, at 7.
Oh, at 7, okay. Sorry, that thing is going.
Tuesday the 29th.
Yeah, that's right. That works.
Tuesday the 29th at 7
Monday's out
o'clock?
for me.
Yep.
Open on everybody's calendar?
Yep, at this point. All right.
Yeah, 28.
That's 7.
It'll work if we could get a motion to schedule a special meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Duff.
Second.
Second by Jeremy. Hold a special meeting regarding treasure search on the 29th at 7 p.m. Anything else? Roll call vote. What the heck?
Duff,
Yes.
Duma,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Pedro.
Yes.
Nutt.
Yes.
Okay, pending business, I don't believe we have any.
No.
Update from the chief.
He's talked a lot today.
I had talked a lot today, I'm going to talk just a quick minute more. Thank you very much for allowing me to recognize the officers, I really appreciate it. And I know they do too. So, next I want to give you an update. I'm sure most of you did not know that I-96 from the 696 275 M5 interchange out to Kent Lake Road will be under construction to add a flex lane for the next 2 years. That's also going to close down some ramps, sometimes both at the same time. The Wixom and Milford ramps are going to be closed at the same time. And the ramps in Novi are going to be closed at certain times. They're going to do the eastbound ones first, and they actually start in 2 months.
Really?
It's going to last for 6 months, and then they're going to be closed. They're not going to do any construction December, January, February, and then they're going to start with the westbound entrance ramp to Milford and Wixom, and then they're also doing the eastbound entrance ramps from Wixom and back to Novi. Eastbound back to Novi for 35 days, and then westbound ramps from westbound to M5. So they're closing all these ramps intermittently, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare to get to or from Wixom, or even get off the highway at 96. So it's going to be a nightmare. I just want to give you a heads up. I have a meeting with the state tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. It's the I-96 flex route, so it's stages.
Well, at the same time, they've just shut down South 275.
Oh, and don't forget, they're
at
gonna
96 and
they're gonna start
M14.
work- They've approved.
So that's going to be shut down for 2 years.
They've approved Beck Road too, from Pontiac Trail all the way down to 5 Mile.
Right?
So all of that is going to start taking
Same time,
place.
yeah.
So it's going to be an absolute mess.
Stay home and order delivery for everything.
Yes.
Pretty much.
They'll never get on the road.
Yeah.
They'll never come in.
Well, thanks for that update, because I didn't know that was coming. That makes me feel a lot better.
It was all good until that point.
It's not that we need that route at all. I mean, everybody in this room
Well,
just
with
uses it every
275
day.
being worked on now, so.
Yeah.
But thank you guys very much for approving those things too. It's going to make our lives a whole lot easier too, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Condick?
Just wanted to report that the budget process is going to begin imminently. I'll be sending work papers to chairs of various boards and commissions and also to council liaisons. To get something on the docket imminently, I will have I will have financial information through the end of February. So at your earliest convenience, kind of get together, and in my cover letter on that subject, as I state every year, I'll be there to be any kind of a resource you want me to be. There's detail on a specific account that you need. If there's, my presence would be required at a meeting, that's all on the table, that's all out there.
Okay.
And we're right on, that's our usual timetable for that.
And then on what we've approved for the police department tonight, we are going to have to amend the budget, I'm sure.
We are, yeah, but...
He completely blew it out of the water.
Well, but I mean, just in case anybody's listening and they're confused, this is all pre-funded by our recovery funds.
Right. Super. Mr. Gillum?
We've heard several comments tonight from several different people about increased costs and things like that, and we are starting to feel the pinch here at the village, just like everybody else is. One example, I've been in touch with Zambelli, which normally does the fireworks show for us every year, and it's as a result of increased insurance and shipping costs. The cost of the fireworks display this year is going to be substantially more than it was last year. So I've got information that I've shared with Mr. Kondak, who has passed that along. He is a member of the Onwards and Upwards Foundation, and I'll be talking with them, and we'll be coming back to council with some kind of a proposal as to what we can afford this year and what Zambelli can do for us. So we will have fireworks, but we'll... Yeah. Those traffic signals that you got,
I think
you're going to be out.
Tiki candles went up huge amounts.
Even, the initial price that we've gotten for the tiki candles from our normal vendor was a significant increase too. So it's going to get worse before it gets better. But we're still going to do things right here at the village. So along those lines too, we're starting to ramp up with our regular springtime activities. There's information posted on the village website now. The Easter Bunny Lunch is going to be back this year. over at the Richardson Center in early April. In addition, Parks and Rec is planning a bus trip down to Eastern Market and Greektown. We have information about that on the website. And 2 boater safety classes have been scheduled. One for...
April 30th?
Yes.
And
And
then I
then...
believe it's May 13th?
May 13th, yeah. Yeah, detailed information on those is on the website as well. The thinking is to get a couple classes in before the boating season actually starts and try to make sure people understand what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do before they actually climb in their boats.
And just for clarification, we can also schedule one later on in the summer if we feel the need.
He did last year, right? So it was a good thing.
And finally, again, congratulations and compliments to the police officers for the awards tonight, particularly Officer Castillo. It was a while ago that happened, but I remember very clearly when the chief filled me in on what happened, and that was great work by Officer Castillo. Absolutely spectacular. We're lucky to have her.
With that, council comments, I guess. We'll go, Mr. Jeremy.
Congratulations and thank you to Officers Castillo and Grunwald for what they've done. What Officer Castillo did, no questions, saved lives, and it's just incredible, her diligence, and a mile away and kept looking, and she saved a little baby and a mother. And it's all incredible. And then Officer Grunwald's been relentless in his fundraising work, and they're just examples of the rest of the police force. And then welcome to Officer Fry, Jeff, whatever wants to go by. Welcome, and hopefully he can help Officer Grunwald and relieve him a little bit in the summer. And then, of course, again, congratulations to Ron Kruger on the well-deserved honor of Citizen of the Year and all the great work and still great work he's doing with the memorial.
Okay. Mr. McDowell.
Yeah, I'll second the officers. Congratulations, thank you for everything they do. It's what makes our community what it is. And don't forget to set the clocks ahead this weekend.
Spring forward.
Spring forward.
We lose an hour.
Yes, we do.
Damn, that's right.
Spring forward.
Mr. O'Brien.
I agree with the comments previously made about your officers, Chief, and should be very proud. You've assembled quite a great group of officers. Other than that, I'd just like to wish everybody a healthy and safe month until we meet again.
Mr. Dumont.
No comment.
Mr. Jeff.
I'll mimic what the other councilman said in terms of congratulations to the officers and again, have a safe month.
Congratulations to the police department, Mr. Kruger. Happy St. Patty's Day, and everybody be careful next Thursday. And with that, spent a lot of money tonight. A lot of it that was warranted, and a lot of things that we need. And thank goodness for some of the money that we did get from the federal government through the COVID concern that we've all gone through. And just everybody keep an eye on overseas. I mean, what's going on overseas is a pretty terrible thing to have to deal with right now. I mean, haven't had to really think about anything like this since 2001. So let's pray for everybody overseas, I guess, in Ukraine. Hopefully all this stuff comes to an end and we can get back to our normal lives. Haven't heard anything about COVID lately, though. That's a good thing, right? So with that, accept the motion to close. Or
Motion.
Adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Dumont. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everybody.
Good night.